Hello and welcome to Tapas and Pretzels, the adorsys podcast. Let's dive into today's episode.
Hello, welcome to the Tapas and Pretzels podcast. My name is Inga. We have David here, we have Tim here, and we have a new guest that is Kerstin Clessienne.
Hi.
So hello, a warm welcome from our side. So if you don't know her, she's now a long time member in the topic of helping clients to make their intelligence transformation in their business. And she's also the co-founder of a startup called Smith & Partners. And so I heard that you named your startup after the film Matrix, as the
Yes.
agents running around. They are also called Smith, right?
Yeah, but our agents are a lot nicer. But yeah, you see now that I'm quite a bit of age.
Yeah,
Matrix
I
is the
think
generation.
Matrix, it's a really, really nice film. I also watched it like a million times. So to say, what would you say? What role would you say agents play in your company?
Wow, we discussed it 5 minutes ago. I would need 100 of them, but while you are busy setting up great systems for clients, you don't get along so much for yourself. But in terms of product, agents are of great help to make use of artificial intelligence and to bring digital transformation to a next level. So we use them when we need them. There's a lot of hype around, but it's a great tool that's just starting, and it will evolve as our capabilities evolve to handle AI purposeful in the companies. That's my focus. And we are how to say, so our focus is to build systems, sustainable and reliable systems beyond the usage of AI assistants, AI agents, so that the work, the quality, the output of all these execution tools gets better as it is now. So I don't want to talk about hallucination, dreaming, blah, blah, blah. So we can complain. What's the way forward? The way forward is a great information strategy together with great executional tools, and agents are part of it.
Perfect. I have one question, because like you said it in the side sentence, basically, I think you said like things will evolve once we have the right capabilities to get there. What are the most crucial capabilities for you to start a digital transformation or be ready for the information world? I like that you said information strategy. I heard that, and my heart goes out.
I didn't know that we will talk 10 hours now. So our concept is based on different levels of companies. So also do capabilities vary from what are my broad capabilities that I need as a company to be successful in the new competitive world. So of course data, tech, but also culture, processes, and what people sometimes miss is the 4P, very easily spoken: product, place, promotion, price. So you need to bring this all together. This is the main focus of a company. And then I have the domains. And you have functional capabilities and you have business capabilities. And these business capabilities derive from the source, derive from the reason why this domain is existing. But of course, to make it easy, you need to have your business model right, and you need your target operation model right. The problem at the moment is in the target operation model, and I count 4 things: data literacy, tech literacy, process literacy, and organizational functionality. And then you can multiply it with AI literacy, and we are there. So it sounds easy. It's 8 things multiplied with AI.
And which is the role of people, in such a digital intelligent transformation?
people and machines.
I mean, yeah, I think that the most important issue in any adoption of an innovation is how you manage people. You know, the business culture. You know, the company culture. How are you going
That's true.
to help people to adopt the innovation?
How I do this, or if I find this important. So people are the core of our companies. Companies are systems, and systems contain of machines, tech, whatever, and people. So we are coming from the system perspective, and we need to know what is in relationship to that person right now in a certain task or in a certain function. And of course, the people themselves involve whatever they are bringing with in terms of experience, in terms of personality, in terms of literacy. And sometimes they are great drivers of innovation due to good culture, good corporate surroundings. Sometimes there's fear, sometimes there's resistance. Um, but I don't know if I can translate it. My most loved boss years ago told me that failure comes from missing information. So it's better in German because Fehler entstehen aus fehlender Information. So what's hard for people and hard for companies is keep going, constant learning, constant change. And the human mind, as I also come from psychology, for the human mind, one thing is really dangerous, and that's change. So people feel in trouble right now. And it's a part that you need to consider. So is in this target operating model, in the layer of these four, there's organization, and people as part of this organization are a very important thing. And then you multiply people with machines. And the ideal scenario in my mind is that people and machines achieve things that neither could have achieved alone. That's the future.
I don't want to get too philosophically or too.
Yeah, let's go tech.
Since we have now the chance, we have a pure tech podcast most of the time. So now this time we have someone that is not completely rooted in tech, so we can strive the other topics as well. And therefore, what is your take on basically because culture is quite important, people are so important, but agents will change the world in the future. And I think we always most humans are in fear of the future and change. What is your take on it? Like, what do you recommend, like decision makers and other upper management people, like how can they foster a culture where people say, hey, agents will be good for me and I'm ready to share my information, because you said like missing information leads to failures before. So how can we incentivize the people sharing the information they have in mind with the agents that they will support doing less failures?
Whose job? David or mine or?
Yeah, maybe you have an idea, like what would you recommend to others, like to do that? Like how can you establish a culture of failures are accepted, or basically sharing the information with the agents and the systems so that people will do, because failures always appear. And you said they're going to appear because of missing information. So how can we provide the agents the information that people have in mind so that our agents will work more precisely?
So I see it from two perspectives. So what is the system a human can transfer its knowledge, its thinking, its systematic view of how business run, how the world functions, as a knowledge base for an agent. So how can I replicate what's in my brain that a machine can deal with it? That's the first perspective. And the second perspective is, what is the interface? What is the communication line, the telephone, the iPhone? I can talk to my agent. And as this low code and no code possibilities become more and more familiar, so comes natural language. And if I give people the ability to talk in natural language to a machine, and the machine simulates to understand, then it gets easier and I lower the barrier. So we call it technical discrimination. 2 years ago, you needed to write Python code. I was stressed out because I realized, oh my God, and I started learning Python because it was a foreign language that was not in my capabilities. Now I said, oh my God, wasted time. It's great in some systems. I can start talking to machine like I talk to other colleagues. And this will evolve. I think this is what's coming in the next 2 years, that we can talk to machines, we can talk to agents, which is small software programs, to be honest. But in our heads, it's the robot or Einzelmännchen, whatever. So that I can talk to machine and to software in my language. That lowers a lot. So when I see people in the companies start working with these small systems, like, for example, Lindy. It's very easy. So go in my Outlook and do this. And they can do this in natural language. They start to understand the chance behind, and the fear goes away. So agentic AI and the possibilities that I am in control of what happens and that I can give my goals in will become normal. So it was also complicated to do search for the first time. I remember that I was completely lost because I come from hyperlink to hyperlink. And oh my God, how did I get there and how do I get back? So it's the same thing. It was in 1998 or something. And now search totally gets different. So it's just a matter of making the barrier low, and due to no need for coding anymore, it will get so much easier. Just my perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I fully agree with you. But I also think that there is a change of paradigm, because until now we can be sure of what a machine can do. If you tell a machine adding 2 and 2, you know that it's 4, so you can trust in the result. But now they also make mistakes like us, so you cannot. Yeah, but you have to be critic and creative to interact with them. You cannot trust anymore 100%. You have to recheck and double check the information that an AI agent is giving to you. So I think that we are not just still to that kind of working with machines. We are still thinking that they never make mistakes. So whichever the results they gave are the truth, and that's not the truth. How
I
do
don't,
you?
yeah. I don't agree so much, because when I think I'm in a meeting, I'm in a meeting with all my colleagues and we have a business problem to crack. Everybody has a different perspective. There is misinformation. So it's totally normal that in a team you challenge yourself. And I'm deep into mathematics and you always need to recalculate and see. So it's a normal thing that, and no machine will just give you the truth. What is the truth? It's always perspective. But as we come further into a different way of providing the machine information, so there Tim is also an expert on that. No? So the better my information is, the better I can control and have the background to judge the output. But when we say people and machines are working together, they will work together like we work together. So no, you don't have the information. Oh, Tim, I see this different. Oh, there is a mistake. this is just normal. And for me, is my expectation that I get everything 100% right, or do I have from a machine, or do I have the expectation that we together define what's right, but maybe we get much further in what's right together than we could have do before. And there are just technically speaking, we have so much more than just this Gen AI thing. We have explainable AI. You can see what's the algorithm behind. So we know how the machine gets there. So I can see also the patterns, what could go wrong, because I made the rules. So when I made the rules, I could see where things could go wrong. And I didn't make the rules how ChatGPT is trained on Reddit. So I will not take, I will end up to diminish this, but I will not take responsibility for that. So I'm more interested in the capability of maybe an LLM, but I want to control the information it works. And I want to control the logic behind, because that's what I'm bringing as a human to the table. I do this job since 25 years. Everything I know, I got from failure. So the machine doesn't have to learn what I had to learn. I just give it to them. So maybe I think we have much more control over the machines than we at the moment in this overwhelming space we feel. So it's too much information, it's too much noise. Let's start small. Let's see that we can control it and then make it bigger. It's just pragmatic thing. But yeah, don't expect ChatGPT not lying to you. And it's not his fault. It's whatever. It's not his fault. It's a machine. It's mathematics. It's when it rains, we take out the umbrella. But also technically saying, with reasoning and everything, what happens at the moment, things go really, really intelligent. So I'm curious, what would we talk about in 2 years? In terms of logic thinking, there are 200 people left on the planet that can better solve logical problems than the AI. I'm not one of these 200, so.
Well, at least David is, but the rest of us is definitely not. So.
No, me neither.
Yeah. But I think you brought up really well topic, because I think currently we're living in a world where everything is heavily centralized in one large language model, like ChatGPT's OpenAI's ChatGPT. But I think the trend is, as we spoke before, is like going towards more agents, because an agent is as I said, a small program which has a dedicated purpose basically, and this small agent can leverage the LLM or algorithm or whatever it makes his job easier, make his job possible. And then then it's like basically you having a log. You're moving from a monolith to a distributed world where you have many distributed. As of now, I mean, it's not the time of the old ancient Greeks where we had Aristoteles, for example. But now we're living in a world where we have so many experts, and you need to communicate with all the experts, take their information, and bring this to your own common truth.
Yeah. And discuss without any emotion. Just every information is valuable. This is the limitation of humans. So different agents can be with disagreement, for example, can be with ambiguity, can be with, and I can see it and I can learn from this. So for me, these multi-agentic systems are perfect mirror of, for example, it's very easy. What we sometimes do, you have this old-fashioned consulting methodology of the 6 heads. So you try to solve a problem, and just to depersonalize, you say you are the emotional voice, you are the rational voice, you are the curious, whatever. And then people start discussing from a different perspective. I can give the agents job and I can see what happens and I can read, and they are negotiating in one application scenario. So when you go to CoStorm, I don't know if you know Storm, this LLM, and they have CoStorm, and if you give it a question, it creates a small agent. So I say, do companies need a brand LLM? Then it gets the IT guy and says, oh, it's so dangerous in terms of this, whoa, it costs thousands of money. And then there comes the brand guy and said, yeah, but it's totally important because we have to make a difference. Oh, let's ask the MarTech guy. And yeah, well, it's about client relationship. And you can read this and you can involve yourself and say, oh, dear MarTech guy, I didn't understand this. Can you explain me? Oh yeah. And I another agent's coming in. It does it by itself. And I don't have to take this for granted to 100%, but it's super inspiring. Oh, I didn't see about that. And these multi-agent systems can really lead to empathy. Oh, I see another perspective. And what I like is it's so unemotional. So we don't need to be hurt or we don't need to feel diminished. It's just information and it's very logical. And we decide what we do about it. I can totally agree to disagree with all these agents. Close the laptop and say, because I know we will do it different. It's my choice.
Do we enter the time of disagreement? What do you think?
Do we enter the time of disagreement?
I disagree.
You go, David. You have an idea?
No, I disagree. This is the time of disagreement. I disagree. or agreement time. Do you know? You don't know. We can choose.
Maybe disagreement was always there. And when you see, like in the systemic world of holacracy and all these also agile frameworks, there are these rules of how to disagree in a human way, and these are really important moderation processes to feel what we call the tension. So the tension sometimes comes from very personal stuff. The AI doesn't have this, but disagreement maybe was always there. And so we don't need to enter a new time. Maybe we enter a new time of handling disagreement differently because calculations, rationals come faster. The AI can do things instantly to help to reveal the source of disagreement and get much more facts in. So it gets easier, but oh my God, I don't know. Disagreement was here since first life was born. So I disagree that you can have my meat here now. So nothing has changed, but maybe a way to handle disagreement.
So I have a question to that. So would you say with this word that we describe right now, the communication between also people will get better because we could also see, as you had the example between those agents, and then you can relate more to that, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, communication is based on motivation. So there's on one side is what has been said, and on the other side it's why has it been said. And every AI, every agent has its goal. And it's my responsibility to give this goal. If I prime the agent, you win at every price, it starts streaming, making arguments, So, and that's dangerous. And you can use the system to manipulate opinions, blah, blah, blah. So how we use this technology that could lead to much better communication is on us. And I see huge potential and massive, massive danger.
Absolutely. So it's time to disagree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
David, you said you disagree, right?
To disagree, you need information,
Yeah.
So what is behind your disagreement? Maybe you have really good reason to disagree because you have better information than me.
Well, yeah, and I think it's time that you said it earlier. Get rid of the emotion. I mean, we had disagreements since the beginning of human life, but
Yeah.
I think we have lived now in a world where we try to be more conformative, like being aligned on viewpoints and everything. But maybe since the AI, as you described really well, can communicate with you in such a way that it will change your mind. It can manipulate you in a way. So we should, as the mankind, we should think about like, can we disagree or how can we disagree without getting too emotional and throwing the computer out of the window. Before,
Yeah.
like, what is logical reasoning for us as humans
Yeah.
that we will not be in parallel with the computer power, but that we establish a more critical thinking, which can bring us also as a human kind a bit further. That's my
Yeah.
my viewpoint.
And computers don't have guts. So the fast AI in the human brain is like, I don't know what, but something is weird here.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
And then you can start researching what's the source of your feeling. It can
Yeah.
be wrong information. So that's what we have to teach our children. So trust still your gut.
I think that the AI is going to make us smarter, because we have to be critic with everything, because we can have more information, and because of that we can have a better understanding of what is going on. So in general it will make us smarter, but it's true that for that you want to be smarter, because people that was silly, it will be more silly every day.
Yeah, see what people read in the internet and what they believe. So it's just multiplied by AI. Even though we wouldn't have had internet, I know a lot of books with total rubbish in it. Already in the 18th century. So disinformation was always there. So the literacy of or the capability of judging is important, and judging has a lot to do with knowledge and education. And so we need to make the smartest kids on the planet, the smartest kids on the planet in terms of judging. Yeah.
Too philosophical, this podcast for us.
Really, we are getting somewhere. So
really
what's life and what's disagreement? And so I was so prepared for tech talk, but it is also tech. It's just why some people are researching in AI, because they want to understand how the human brain functions and how the universe works. So it's not so far away. But how to make it tangible? When you go into the business context, the question now is, that's the philosophical blah, blah, blah. But what in this discussion is of value for the company, or what is the problem behind that you can solve? And when I go back to what's the information, the frame, the foundation for my AI, my corporate intelligence, my agents, I want to be in control of it. It's not ChatGPT blah blah. So, and you can do it in various ways. So people start with good prompting. Okay, I get constraints, restrictions and constraints. First maturity level. Second maturity level, I do my custom GPTs. So I make constraints, restrictions, instructions more clear. I try to set better borders. Next level is you go into information strategy and say, okay, I define logic, I define semantics, there's a taxonomy, and what's all my experience behind this logic. That's different levels, and people are coming now from stage 1 or 2 in a more in stages where they want to apply more serious use cases. So we are deep in the topic of economic value forecasting, You have the security perspective. Do you really want to give your business data into the world? No, we don't have to discuss this. So how can I keep it with me? What is the business logic? And then how can I build my own intelligence systems using all the capability, but keep the information with me? And then we are in what's the backbone of your corporate differentiation and your corporate strategy. So everything we are building technically underlies the principle of controlled output. And really, really high performance agents. I need entertainment. I don't need entertainment agents. And see, when I see it from the business side, what are the use cases currently, the industry is currently adopting? It is a lot in content creation. So there is no risk if this cherry is a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. It's a lot about aesthetics, tonality, brand leadership, like these use cases where it don't get so serious. It's very valuable, but it's not so serious. When we now go into the economic side, how do I spend my money? What is my media strategy? When it's not impact, when it's investments, I would like to have a little bit more of control and also security.
So now we had like the tech talk, as you said.
Did I get the curve?
So I think that's perfect. And it was a really, really nice talk. Thank you, Kerstin. It was a pleasure to meet you. And
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, maybe next time we can talk a little more about tech, but I think this philosophy thing is also really nice to hear. And thank you, Tim. Thank you, David, that you also were here, of course. And we will see us at the next podcast. Please subscribe us or you can, if you want to, on Spotify, on YouTube, and also LinkedIn. And we will see us next time.
Thank you, Inga.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.